Speakers Bank Podcast. Our voices, our views.
Welcome to Speakers Bank Podcast.
Our voices, our views.
Today we are here at Arcare talking to Miss Joan Bell, and you're going to be listening to her with some of her experience in her life. Joan, can you share with us some of your experience in your life, as you living at Arcare?
Yes, I could go way back.
Yes.
To the Second World War.
Okay. Yep.
In 1939, I was 11 years of age,
Right.
and I had a couple of brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and a mother and a father, and we had a good life, although it was a very bad time, and I'd come from England, by the way.
And where was this?
In England, in London.
Okay.
And there were a lot of very poor people because it was the Depression years.
Right.
And the Depression wasn't just in Australia, it was worldwide.
Right.
And although it didn't affect us as a family, because my dad was a chef
Okay.
in the West End of London, at the Waldorf Hotel. He had a very good job, but there was a lot of people who didn't have any jobs at all. And but we were well off. We had a motor car. Well, no, we didn't have a motor car because motor cars were
It's very
sort of only,
expensive.
no, they didn't exist. They were only, it was a horse and cart. They were just, if the motor car went down the street, you had to run out and look at it,
Yeah.
So no, we had a motorcycle and a sidecar.
Right.
The best thing at that time.
Yeah.
And the sidecar, there was me, my mum, and one brother, and my dad, and my other brother on the cycle with him, my brother on the pillion,
Yeah.
And it was a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Until 1939, when war was declared, and then we had to be evacuated because you weren't allowed
From London.
from London, because we knew we were going to get bombed by the Germans,
Okay.
and so all children went to school you were issued with gas masks,
Right.
because you didn't know that the Germans wouldn't use gas, which they did in the First World War. So we were prepared for gas. So every child had gas masks, and you had to have it with you 24,
Mm-hmm.
And you were put on the train. So it was all done through the schools. The schools had to manage the evacuation of children from the age of 5 upwards to the country. Because in England, you see, outside of London, there's beautiful countryside. There's the West Country and up north, if you didn't know the British at all.
And where were you evacuated to?
Lyme Ridges in Dorset, which
Right.
is the West Country. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it there.
And do you have to go with your family? Mum and
No,
Dad?
No. Mum and Dad can stay in London.
Only the children taken away?
Yeah, the children under 5 were allowed to stay with the mother, but 5 upwards you were evacuated.
Right.
And my mother was pregnant, and she died in 1941 at the height of the bombing and everything. So pregnant women had to be evacuated,
Right.
and she was evacuated to a hospital in one of the suburbs outside of London, one of the counties rather,
Mm-hmm.
away from London, and she died.
Oh.
And that was her 6th child. We were all born at home because in those days people didn't go to hospital to have a baby. It was the norm, you had a
Yeah.
midwife or
At home.
And we were all born at home except that last one, which she wasn't allowed to have at home, in a
Had to go to the
hospital,
hospital.
and she died.
Oh,
And there was my dad left with 6 children.
to look after.
One of them a newborn baby.
Oh, okay.
So
Did you go back to school after that?
After the World War.
After the
No.
World War?
I finished school in Lyme Regis, where I was evacuated. When I was 13, I had to leave school to come back to London to look after my brothers
And sisters.
and my mother died.
Yeah. And only your father was working?
Yes,
What was he doing?
he was a chef in the West End of London.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was exempt from call-up
Right.
because it was still the hierarchy
Yeah.
that must have their restaurants and their top foods. There was
He must
always
be the
big-
best chef in London.
Oh, he wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't the only one, but of course he had to be good. Yeah, of course.
How have you managed to look after your younger brother and sisters? Was it very hard to you?
Oh, it was terrible for me, yeah. And then he was taking my younger brother before I came back from Lyme Regis to a nursery, day nursery. The other two were younger, had to go to an orphanage, evacuated.
Oh, so all of you were taken to orphanage and some other houses to be looked after?
we were already, my mother was alive until I was 13.
Yeah.
I was 11 when I was evacuated.
Right.
And I was, well established, and so were my 2 brothers. The 3
Yes.
of us were in Lyme Regis. And my mum and dad was in London,
Yeah.
but then she had more children.
So did you manage to come back home
Yeah, I had
after
to come back.
was that after the war?
No, it was before, the war was still on. I came back, I was 13,
Yeah.
to look after the,
That's after 2 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I loved it in Lyme Regis. It was a seaside town. It was
Oh,
gorgeous.
beautiful. That's nice.
I didn't want to come back. Especially the other reason I came back was that my dad met another woman. So, and she, no, this is awful.
Yeah.
This is awful. I detest my father very much.
I think he did that so that, she
He met
she
this
can look
woman.
after your brothers and sisters.
He met a woman with a 2-year-old and got pregnant. Is it called post?
First two.
Her husband died, and she was
Oh.
3 months, found she was 3
Pregnant.
months pregnant and with a 2-year-old.
Oh.
Well, he met her, and he felt sorry for her, but it
Yeah.
didn't take him long to feel sorry for himself as well, And so he
with you and the kids and the
So he got
children.
me as the, the skivvy, want of a better word.
Yeah.
Yeah, to look after the kids and take them out and I hated that part. But it
Yeah.
was wartime. We had a lull between the war when they didn't. And then I sort of rebelled.
Oh,
Yes.
and you went away from home.
Well, I had a girlfriend that I was evacuated with, and we got ourselves, because she was training to be a nurse actually, but,
Okay.
and at the seaside place. It was all the seafronts were barbed wire up,
Oh, right.
because they
Yes.
expect it was so easy to invade from the channel,
Yeah.
the English channel. Yeah.
And did you find your husband there?
Yes, I did, yeah. at the end of the war, because he was in the Navy,
Okay.
the Royal Navy, from the beginning right through to the end. He
Right.
was in all seas, you know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what made you move to Australia?
Well, so I met my husband and we had 3 children,
Yes.
and we brought them up, and the youngest, the other 2, they met their partners, they got married, and the youngest one met an Australian in London at work, and she got engaged to him, and he said he couldn't live in England, she'd have to come to Australia.
Right.
Well, she took her time, then she said, Mum, would you mind me going to Australia?
Yeah.
I said, I don't mind, yes, but her husband was a terrific bloke. I said, but you'd never find another bloke like him if he went all around the world.
Yes.
So she had to get a fiancé visa
Okay.
and to get married here. So 6 months, she had 6 months to get married or deported.
Beautiful.
That was in 1975.
Wow.
And so she was getting married here, and she was to a very nice family. And well, as we said, one of us needs to come out for her wedding, but we couldn't both afford the fare and everything.
Must
So
be very expensive.
it was, well, it still is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So my husband said, well, she wanted her mum more than her dad, so it was me that came, and I just loved it. And I went back to my husband and I said, oh, it's a great place, you know. Well, he'd seen Australia during the war, because he docked at Melbourne and all that, you know. So going back now, after the war was so bad, and Australia was saying, you know,
A new
come to
home.
Australia, all on the TV, everything. And my husband said, yes, it is. So we went and put our names down at Australia House in London.
Yeah.
And we were still rationed, and it was still 5 years after the war. And I'm in the meat queue one Saturday afternoon, and there's a woman who got talking in the queue, you know, in front of me. She said, I've just come back from Australia. What a hellhole, she said. Sydney. She said they're begging. They're crying at the dockside at Sydney to the boats, because I'm going back to the time when you weren't flying here.
You were coming by
You had
boat.
to come by boat.
Yes.
So you have a lifelong different experience
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for our viewers?
What sort of advice?
For the people to come to Australia. Because you've moved down to Australia.
Yeah, I'm not doing an ad for Australia, am I? For people coming here, they don't want you now. There's too many people here. They're sending the boats back, so why would I want to tell people to come here?
Well,
No.
maybe you can tell them to send them back.
No, that's what they're trying to do.
No, but
Yeah.
what is your view of, you know, telling the people how nice Australia is?
Well, of course it's nice.
Yes.
A lot of countries are nice
Yeah.
when there's not a war. But when you
No.
look at these countries, I mean, it's terrible what they're doing to countries, even a place like Hong Kong.
That's right.
I've been to Hong Kong. Look at the way they're bashing that about and fighting us.
That's
It's
right.
terrible. Wars just ruin everything.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Joan,
Yeah.
for sharing your story with us.
Yeah,
And thank you for watching the podcast.
yeah.
If you have any questions or any stories that you want to share it with us, please contact us on 0393140988.
Or visit our website at www.speakersbank.org.au. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Speakers Bank.
Thank you.
Thank you.